This is KRFC Fort Collins, and our next program is live. Good afternoon, KRFC Fort Collins listeners. I'm your host today, Andrew Schneider, in the green studio with our audio tech, Taylor Wyckoff. Joining us noon to 1 today, playing a live set and talking about their West Coast States adventure. We have the antique pop duo, Victor and Penny. Take it away.
All right.
Night for someone exactly like you. Why should we spend money on a show or two? No one does those love scenes exactly like you.
You make me feel so grand, I want to give the world to you. You seem to understand each foolish little dream I'm dreaming, scheme I'm scheming. Now I know why mother taught me to be true. She meant me for someone exactly like you. Someone exactly like you. Why should we spend money on a show or two? No one does those love scenes exactly like you. You make me feel so grand, I want to give the world to you. You seem to understand each foolish little dream I'm dreaming, scheme I'm scheming. Now I know why mother taught me to be true. She meant me for someone exactly like you. Oh, she meant me for someone. She meant me for someone. She meant me for someone exactly like you.
You're listening to Victor and Penny on Live at Lunch here at 88.9 FM KRFC Fort Collins, streaming around the world at krfcfm.org, where you can find more information about Victor and Penny, their upcoming shows, and all the artists we have here live at lunch, noon to 1, Monday through Friday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Andrew.
We've got about an hour to play some music. I invite you to sit back, relax, as we're going to take a trip back in time to explore the future of pop music. That song was called Exactly Like You.
That's right. Yeah.
What are we going to hear next?
I think Never Say Never Again.
Yeah, it's an old Harry Woods tune called I'll Never Say Never Again Again.
We've been posting some little road videos, and this was one of the first ones we posted, so some people have seen this. If you haven't, you should go to our YouTube and check it out.
I'll never say never again, 'cause here I am in love again, head over heels in love again with you. I'll never say I'll never kiss you again, 'cause here I am kissing you again. That's just the thing I said I'd never do. I walked away and said goodbye. I was hasty, wasn't I? I missed you so I thought I'd die. But it's all over now, throw my hat in the sky. I'll never say never again, 'cause here I am in love again, head over heels in love again with the same sweet you.
was hasty, wasn't I? I missed you so I thought I'd die, but it's all over now, throw my hat in the sky. I'll never say never again, 'cause here I am in love again, head over heels in love again with the same sweet you.
Victor and Penny, Never Say Never again.
That's a good one.
Man, Jeff, talk to me a little bit about the guitar we're listening to today. I see you're playing a K.
Yeah, it's an early 60s K archtop, which has been outfitted with an old de-Armond pickup, which is the same kind that Howlin' Wolf used to use. And I just kind of stumbled onto this guitar in Kansas City.
Midwestern music.
Yeah, last summer when Aaron and I were doing a play together, and I was called to be the music director and leader of the band, which was this kind of 30s, 40s noir sort of dark jazz thing.
Victor, California, and the Dead Ringers.
Yeah, that was the band, and so
the best band name ever, I think.
Yeah, and so I was looking for the right guitar to find the sound I was looking for, and our friend Matt Kessler at Midwestern Music in Kansas City.
It's a great music store in Kansas City.
Yeah, I had this guitar and loaned it to me for the show, and it worked great. It was fantastic. We recorded the soundtrack of the show on it, and I just kept going back and borrowing it for gigs. You know, I'd go back to Kansas City and do jazz gigs, and just kept borrowing it, and finally I just had to buy it from him.
He fell in love.
Yes, yeah.
Had to have it.
Yeah, so.
Excellent. Well, we're going to be here till 1 o'clock today with Victor and Penny, and Jeff, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the other cool toys and gadgets that you have put together and brought in today.
Sure.
That's an interesting question, though, too, because our instruments definitely have shaped our sound, the instruments that we play.
Now, did you play ukulele like in high school symphony? No, you probably picked that up somewhere outside the mainstream.
Flute, actually. How that happened is that I just decided I wanted to learn as kind of part of some things that we were doing together, and tried to buy a ukulele in Chicago, and just long story short, for some reason could not buy that ukulele that day, even though I had cash in hand, and got back out to the car, and I said to Jeff, you know, I remember my dad had a ukulele from when I was a kid. I remember it. Wonder if he still has it. And I called him. I said, hey, you know, and he says, yeah, I still have it. Do you want it? And I said, sure. 3 days later, it shows up. I don't remember anything about the ukulele, if it's a good one or not, or a toy. And we opened the box, and it's an amazing instrument. It's a Hofner, a 1951 Hofner that my dad purchased in Bremerhaven, Germany, when he was stationed there in the Navy.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah, so our two little instruments just love each other. So
we've had a hard time finding any ukulele that sounds anywhere near as good as this thing, because we thought, well, this is an old instrument. We should have something else to take on the road with us, maybe, but just couldn't find anything.
It just sings. It's just really an amazing instrument, and we haven't found any other like it. And so then we took it to our friend in Chicago, Ben at Rock and Roll Vintage, and he did some reconstruction work on it, fixed the bridge for me, and installed a pickup inside and things like that, so got it road ready. And here we are.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Victor and Penny, what are you going to play for us next?
Let's see.
Let's do Daisy.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is an arrangement from the Mills Brothers as a group that we play a lot of their tunes and a lot of their arrangements, which we love. So this is one called Dirt Dishin' Daisy.
I know a scandal monger, a low-down evil skirt. They call her Dirt Dishin' Daisy. Boy, how she can dish that dirt. She works down in Joe's lunchroom. She waits on tables there. And while she dishes that dish out, she dishes dirt for fair. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 yeah.
come in for pork chops or oysters that are fried, you're gonna get more than pork chops. You get some dirt beside. She pans your next door neighbor and makes you think it's true. And when your neighbor comes in there, she starts in panning you. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo, woo. They left her dishing Daisy stretched out there on the floor, dishing out around her. She won't dish dirt no more. The moral of this story, only this, my friend: if you dish dirt while you're living, they'll dish dirt on you in the end. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 yeah. Yeah, blah, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah.
Victor and Penny singing Dirt Dishin' Daisy. Now, one of the lyrics in that song is about the fare there at the lunchroom. Have you all ever had fried oysters?
Yeah.
No.
It's been a while, but yeah, I've had fried oysters.
I need to have fried
Now,
oysters.
I know we're far away from an ocean, but there are a couple of great places in Fort Collins that have fried oysters. So we'll talk after the show and,
Okay.
and remedy that. I've always had a theory that that's really what did Daisy in. It wasn't, you know, she's a...
It was a bad
She's a
oyster?
girl, she had a pure heart, but her stomach was
it was
not
the fried
as
oysters.
strong.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Well, this may be a perfect opportunity to talk about your background a little bit, Aaron, because you're, I would say, part of a major force in a resurging art form, in this country at least, which is cabaret.
Yeah.
And lately, just in the last 5-6 years, there's been a huge resurgence in the style, and it's making its way not just into theaters across the country, but into films. There's Burlesque came out, I think that was last year, 2010, which sort of put a cap on the whole thing. But far from jumping the shark, I think it's inspired more young cabaret performers to come out and do their own thing. But tell us a bit about your group, Al Cartuna.
Al Cartuna, we formed in 2003, and we're a cabaret group inspired by the music and the art that was being made in all different disciplines in the Weimar Republic, which was a very short period of time that happened between the world wars, basically in Germany, but really in Berlin was what we're interested in, was what was going on in Berlin. There was just an explosion of art and thought and science, and it was a very interesting time, and it only lasted a very short amount of time until the Nazis came in and basically put an end to the cabaret. So that's...
and a lot of other things.
Yeah, undoubtedly. So, but that's what we're inspired by. So we've been together for a number of years, and we've made a full-length film, and we won a grant from the Metropolitan Arts Council of Kansas City, which helped us make that film. We've put out a couple albums, and we're still continuing on to create new works. We've created several stage plays. We've fully mounted and staged a play a couple years ago, and that was fun. We call what we do theatrical music rather than musical theater, because we kind of come at it from the music side. We have an all-original songbook, so we're still modern people, but just inspired by the spirit of the Weimar. And we're still out there. We're still out there playing shows and doing it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic experience, you know, to remind yourself of the creativity in generations past. And
yeah, and how fresh and relevant it still is. That's what's really amazing to me about the cabaret, is just how relevant so much of the feeling and the political thought really is still even today.
So how does the roots of cabaret find its way into Victor and Penny? I mean, this is sort of a different format, but maybe similar style.
It is. Well, I think...
Or a similar purpose.
Yeah, well, I think the idea of going back and looking at art that has already been done and then taking that, interpreting it, and doing something modern with it, it's always good to kind of touch base to where we came from. They say, you know...
Are you talking about hip-hop? Of course. Sampling?
This is my other group, is I call Dry Ice. It's really good, so...
Wow.
Ice-T and Ice Cube are going to be calling you after the show.
Yeah, for copyright infringement.
No. So, you know, I think we just got inspired by some of the music that was happening. But I'm talking about Victor and Penny. I'm talking about Jeff and I got inspired by some of the music around the turn of the century. And we kind of got started in part because we were asked to do some music for a film called Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, which I don't think is out yet. It's a documentary about the first woman groundskeeper for the Baltimore Orioles.
Yep.
Right. So the woman who was making this film wanted to have a soundtrack that was comprised of baseball songs. Now, this is what I mean by we didn't know that there was an entire catalog of songs.
She sent us about 17 or 18 baseball tunes that were public domain, basically, that she had, you know, that we could use.
Turn of the century.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of them? Could you pull one out?
Probably not. We sifted through all of those and we picked one that we
arranged
and recorded for the soundtrack, and it was written in 1908, I think, or something like that. Really old. It's in there. All these tunes are in the vein of, you know, Take Me Out to the Ballpark. They're all just not as good. You know, that's why that's the one we sing at the seventh inning stretch.
which leads us to this idea. First of all, we had no idea that the popular music at the turn of the century was baseball songs. So there was, you know, there was the great one, the Take Me Out to the Ballpark, which we all know, and then there was this whole host of copycat songs which are like it but not as good. But that's very much like popular music today. There's generally one or two artists that come out with something new, and it's great, and then there's a whole host of copycats that happen after it. We found that was totally true at the turn of the century, but the popular music just happened to be baseball-inspired songs in this kind of, you know, style, and so that kind of led us down this path of thinking about what was popular music at that time. Was very much like our popular music at this time. And what we've discovered is that there's several songwriters that we like very much, and we see, you know, we find a song we like and we look at the author, it's the same guy. So it's the same thing. It's like there were a few really great writers at that time, and a lot of ones that aren't that great, but...
Well, we're going to come back and talk with Victor and Penny some more about the lessons from the beginning of the last century in music. But we want to get some more music, so what are we going to hear next?
Some of These Days?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a tune called Some of These Days.
And who's this by?
I don't know if we have a songwriter on this one. It's this is
1910, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is from 1910. Shelton was the first name.
Yeah.
Yeah. We took this from another Mills Brothers arrangement. So, yeah.
You're listening to Victor and Penny on Live at Lunch.
Some of these days you'll be so lonely. Some of these days you'll miss me only. You'll miss my hugging. You'll miss my kissing. You'll miss me, baby, when I'm gone away. You'll be so lonely, alone without me. But you know, baby, why I went away. And when I'm leaving, you'll be grieving. You miss your little mama, some of these days.
lonely. You'll miss my hugging, you'll miss my kissing, you'll miss me, Daddy, when I've gone away. You'll be so lonely, alone without me. But you know, baby, that you had your way. And when I'm leaving, you'll be grieving. You miss your mama some of these days. Your mama, Daddy, some of these days. Sweet little mama, Daddy, some of these days.
You're tuned in to Live at Lunch on KRFC 88.9 FM. We've got the multi-talented duo Victor and Penny joining us in the studio today. We're going to get back to a little bit of their music and talk with them some more. But first, KRFC would like to thank Boss Associates for their generous donation of water bottles that Live at Lunch artists use to stay happy and hydrated. We also want to thank Alley Cat Coffee. Their generous donation of coffee and tea gets us up, alert, and on time for our call time here in the morning. One final announcement. KRFC needs your help. We need 40 volunteers to be a part of the KRFC crew for Bohemian Nights at New West Fest, August 12th and 13th. Today, I believe, is the last day that we can get these volunteers signed up, and we are especially in need of a person to join us from 7 to 11 p.m. on Saturday. Not only is this a great opportunity to connect KRFC with more of our community, it's also a KRFC fundraiser. And if we get 40 people to volunteer, KRFC will get $2,000, which allows us to keep the electricity running here at Live at Lunch, keep incredible talent like Victor and Penny coming to Fort Collins. And speaking of coming to Fort Collins, you all are playing here in town at the GNU Experience Gallery on Sunday.
That's right.
You've also got some gigs between here in Denver. You've got a gig in Boulder. A gig in Denver. Where all are you playing here in your Colorado Lake the tour?
Well, we'll be in Boulder tonight with a guy named Nolan McGinnis at Johnny's Cigar Bar.
We have our good friend Brian Pierce sitting in on bass with us, so we're excited about that. Great thing about
fantastic.
our duo. Yeah, great thing about our duo is that we get to have people sit in with us a lot. And
yeah, so we'll be a trio tonight, which will be fun. And then we'll be in Denver tomorrow night doing a house concert at a friend of ours' house who has generously offered up their place to us. And so if you want information about that, you can email us at victorandpenny@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to pass on that info.
It's a word of mouth kind of event.
It is.
It's like a prohibition.
We're not really
style
advertising
sort of
the
thing.
we don't want his house overrun.
If you're in Denver on Saturday, you can reach out via email. And what was that email address again one more time?
It's victorandpenny@gmail.com.
Okay.
And we have operators standing by.
yeah, and then Sunday night we're going to be back here in Fort Collins at the GNU Experience Gallery, and we're real excited about that. That's kind of a different sort of space for us, and we like to do that. We're playing on this tour. We've been out, well, it'll be almost 3 weeks now, and we've had the great fortune of playing in art galleries, house concerts, jazz clubs, restaurants.
And some rock clubs.
Rock club.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's been terrific, the different kinds of places that we've played, and that's been really fun. And our last round of shows here in Colorado before we go home, we get to do that. We have a jazz club tonight at Johnny's Cigar Bar, which should be great, and that's in Boulder, and then the house concert tomorrow and the art gallery performance space on Sunday, so really great. And of course you today, so
live on the radio.
Yeah,
it's good
thank
time.
you so much for asking us to be on.
Well, for listeners who aren't familiar with the GNU Experience Gallery, it's in the space that used to be Gallery Underground and Summit Studios, right there off of Old Town Square. The address is 109 Linden Street here in Fort Collins. That's 80524. You can find GNU Experience Gallery on Facebook. That's what they use as their primary website, I believe, if I'm not misinformed. And you can get in touch with them at gnugallery@gmail.com for more information. Of course, all the shows are up on victorandpenny.com as well.
Yep, exactly.
And just for good measure, we've got links and all that good stuff up on krfcfm.org.
Great. Yeah, we're excited. Hopefully we'll see some of y'all this weekend. We'd love to meet some more people. We're trying to connect with the ukulele group this weekend, too. So, we're just having a good time and meeting people. So we'd love to meet more of you.
Yeah, next time you come through, I'm just going to throw this out there.
Sure.
We have a bass and ukulele duo from here in town called Danielle Ate the Sandwich. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Danielle.
We played with them.
You have played
Yes.
with them already?
Yeah, yeah.
We played with them here.
She's been in the back seat of our car doing videos with us. So
Yes, we
that
need to tell
sounds
people.
horribly naughty, but it's all clean. I assure you.
You were in the front seat.
We were
just-
in the front,
just-
yes,
yeah.
just to be clear. Yeah, that's also, if you go to YouTube and go to our channel, which is Victor and Penny, we have these little road videos. We started because Jeff lives mainly in Chicago and I live mainly in Kansas City, though I work in Chicago and he works in Kansas City, so we're back and forth all the time. We started having band practice in the car, so we started recording ourselves playing in the car, in the drive, and so that's kind of become a little thing for us. And our very first guest artist in our back seat was Danielle. So
Excellent.
she just did that a couple weeks ago here. It was in Fort Collins.
In Fort Collins.
Yeah.
I think it's such a cool thing that a lot more artists are starting to do now, realizing that they can do video on their own without, an image consultant and some,
Yes.
their publicist there making sure they say just the right things and all those sorts of things. And the true music lovers, people who really like finding independent voices and connecting with artists in more meaningful ways than you can get, say, on commercial radio or with, commercial artists, I think there's a great value in that. And I love, chasing down all the videos and roads from the story, of course, because I like talking to musicians. But it's also a great way for fans and people looking to discover new music to sample a wide range of music in a sort of new, non-traditional way.
Sure.
And the great thing about our tunes is they're all very short. With a chorus and a solo and another chorus, they're about 2 minutes. And our versions on YouTube, where we just do one chorus, are less than a minute. So it's very little.
Bite size.
Yeah, it's very
And there's some sort of irony about using the world's largest video aggregating piece of technology to find a song that's been basically relegated to, the Library of Congress
Yeah.
for over 100 years.
I hadn't thought about that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I know that we're streaming live, so I think we have some friends in the Kansas City and Chicago area listening, and hopefully we're going to bring Danielle out to the Midwest in November, and I think going to play some shows with her in Chicago and Kansas City. That's kind of on the horizon, so hopefully.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she's great. We love her.
Well, I'm loving talking to y'all, but we should listen to some more music.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. We'll do, this is a tune that I actually first heard the Beatles do, but it's an old 20s tune called Chic of Araby, and of course Django Reinhardt does a version of it as well, who I'm a big fan of, so we thought this would be a good one for us. So
You're listening to Victor and Penny here on KRFC Fort Collins, 88.9 FM.
Chic of Araby, your love belongs to me. At night when you're asleep, into your tent I'll creep. The stars that shine above will light a path to love. You'll rule this world with me. I'm the Sheik of Araby. Your love belongs to me. At night when you're asleep, into your tent I'll creep. The stars that shine above will light a path to love. You'll rule this world with me. I'm the Sheik of Araby. I'm the Sheik of Araby. I'm the Sheik of Araby.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Live at Lunch here on KRFC Fort Collins. We're here Monday through Friday, noon to 1 Mountain Time, bringing you the best live music in Fort Collins, both local and touring acts. Today, joining us, we've got Victor and Penny, the Chicago, Kansas City-based, spread out all over the place, doing all kinds of crazy, funky, cool stuff duo. Victor and Penny. Talk to us a little bit about your Midwestern roots. I mean, you're doing in Chicago quite a few projects, including playing with a great drummer friend of mine, Rich Stitzel.
Yeah.
But you're also involved with Blue Man Group there.
That's right. I've been there about 10 years playing the electric zither for the Blue Man Group in Chicago, which has been a fun job.
And what is a zither for people who don't know?
Well, it's an old German instrument, and it's I'd liken it to an auto harp. Is probably what most people are familiar with, but it doesn't have the auto part. You have to do everything yourself. And the one we have has been built specially for the show. It's got 60 strings on it, and it's run through effects processors and amplifier, and
So it sounds sort of like an electric guitar, but
yeah, it sounds like a guitar, but there's things you can do on it, that you can't do on a guitar. It's got harp strings on the top, like piano strings on the top to play melodies with, and tuned chords on the bottom. It's pretty interesting.
So did the Blue Men let you take that home to play with in your garage, or do you have
no? It's kind of, it stays there.
That's too bad. I was hoping we'd see it in a YouTube feature.
It's not very portable.
And how do you get time off to go out on the road?
Well, it's very flexible. It's a great thing about being there. There's several guys that do what I do, so there's other guys to fill in shows when I'm gone, and it's a place staffed with musicians and artists, so and run by musicians and artists, so they're
supportive.
Yeah, supportive.
Well, it must be really rewarding to be part of a project with that sort of longevity that still just packs in the crowds night after night after night for years, and multiple tours across the country.
It's been great.
Residencies in multiple cities.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really cool sort of thing to get involved
with.
Yeah,
I feel fortunate to have been there as long as I have. So it's been great.
And what about Kansas City? Are you a Kansas City native?
I'm not. I'm from Northwest Iowa, and I moved to Kansas City to finish my degree. I have a degree in theater performance, and so what was then the Missouri Repertory Theater was on the campus, part of UMKC. So I went there to get some real world experience as well as finish my degree. And then I got in a rock and roll band. I got hooked. I know. So and actually Kansas City, I'm a big supporter of Kansas City because there's so many resources there, and there's so much art and music and creativity happening there. It's really kind of astonishing. People don't really know what's going on there, and that's kind of okay for us right now because it's a super rich incubator and proving ground for a lot of new work. For example, the play that we did together was an original work that was a cross-discipline original play called The Oil Boiler. And that's what Jeff was talking about earlier about being the music director, and I was a producer of it and also was in it. So, you want to do something like that in Kansas City, you can, which is why I continue to stay and work there, even though I do a lot of my salary, I guess, comes from the work that I do in Chicago. But
you got to spread the goodness around. You can't hoard it all for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not every week or every day or probably even month. I mean, we've had a couple of Grammy winners on the show, but we've never had anyone that was, as far as I know, associated with an Emmy award-winning production. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about this project, The Unreal Housewives of Kansas City.
It was a terrific fun project I was involved in called The Unreal Housewives of Kansas City, and it was a webisode, and it was a parody of a parody, basically. So we were parodying the Real Housewives and
which is now a big franchise.
Oh my
in
gosh.
multiple cities.
Yeah. So we were 5 women parroting the Kansas City housewife scene there, and we did win a regional Emmy for that. So that was a great experience to be part of, and I'm sorry the producers didn't continue the project on, but we're real proud of what we did, and so you can see that online too. The Unreal Housewives of Kansas City.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
the Emmy win. I followed the show and just loved it up and down. So
yeah, me too.
And you've also do big screen appearances.
Yes.
You were just opposite George Clooney in
Yes.
Up in the Air.
Yes, that was probably my favorite film experience, obviously. So, yeah, that was a fantastic opportunity. And again, people asked me if I went to LA to book that, but I didn't. I booked that in Kansas City, actually. My agent in Kansas City got me the audition, and went through 4 rounds of auditions with people from all over the country. So it was pretty nerve-wracking. It was about a month long altogether, the audition process. So it was nail-biting I didn't really believe I actually got it until I walked on the set, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is actually going to happen. So it was a wonderful experience, really great.
Fantastic.
I have another film coming out this year that's an indie film, but I'm one of the leads for it instead of being a big national film and having a small part. It's called Nail Biter. Speaking of nail biting, it's called Nail Biter, and you can see the trailer online at nailbitermovie.com.
I've actually seen the trailer for that. And I didn't even put 2 and 2 together until just now.
Yeah, that's me.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that'll be coming out soon too. We'll have that to look forward to.
Well, we've got just about 20 minutes left here in the Live at Lunch hour. We're talking with Victor and Penny, the antique pop duo. And we're going to get some more music out of them before we have to send them on their way to Boulder, Denver, back up here on Sunday at the GNU Experience Gallery, and then back home to their busy creative lives.
Yeah, well, you can see us tonight in Boulder at Johnny's Cigar Bar, and tomorrow in Denver. If you want some more information about the Denver show, you can email us at victorandpenny@gmail.com, and then we'll be back here in Fort Collins on Sunday. So then we have to go home, which we're kind of sad about. It's been a fantastic 3 weeks. We've been all the way out to California.
Well, you're welcome back to Fort Collins.
We'll be back for sure.
Yeah, we'll be coming back. I think next we were going to do a song written by a man named Barclay Martin, who I used to sing backup for, and actually we performed here, was it 3 years ago? Probably 3 years ago, with his group, the Barclay Martin Ensemble, when I was on tour with them singing backup. Barclay is a dear friend of Jeff and mine, and so this is one of his songs called Slow Dance that this is doing the opposite. We're taking a modern song and sort of putting it in our style.
It's a slow dance, and how can you be certain that it's alright? Don't you wanna stay with me tonight? I swear you drive me to distraction. You don't play fair with the rules of attraction in this slow dance. Don't you wanna take me round again? True love falling to pieces, feeling so right. I'm calling for Jesus to save me. This dance is getting dangerous again.
Just say,
lean in, deliver me the notion, and just steal this intoxicating potion. Now you're strung out. What are you prepared to do without?
Just take
this time. I'm gonna get even. It's a small crime in the Garden of Eden. Won't you tempt me? I will be the one who sets you free. True love, falling to pieces, feeling so right. I'm calling for Jesus to save me. This dance is getting dangerous again. Oh. dainty taste the night at her vanity later.
No, her eyes will tell you lies. Just say
Lean in, I'll tell you a fantasy.
from
These words
this
get spoken so carelessly.
what
Slow dance.
will
Did you think you really
do
had a
now?
chance? True love falling to pieces, feeling so right. I'm coming for Jesus to save me. This dance is getting dangerous again.
Slow dance. Slow dance.
Won't you take me on a slow dance?
Victor and Penny playing a Barclay Martin tune there. Slow dance. Listen to this lineup of cities that Victor and Penny have been playing in, because I think it's fantastic. First of all, you've got, of course, Chicago and KC kicking it off in the hometown there. Portland, San Francisco, Phoenix, Flagstaff, Albuquerque, San Francisco or Los Angeles, and then of course saving the best for last, you're playing Boulder, Denver, and then Fort Collins, Colorado.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right. We actually didn't make it up to Portland.
No,
we
we
we,
didn't.
we took that portion of the trip off because we just was making it too long, and we ended up adding a few in the middle, like we went to San Luis Obispo
Oh, nice.
between
I love it there.
LA and San Fran, which was great. Yeah.
And we
So-
did a radio show there too at
Yep.
Cal Poly and
Yep.
right, Cal
That's right,
Poly,
Cal
the other
Poly,
day.
yep.
And so we added a few more California dates in there. We just basically went up and down the coast, which was great too. But yes, drove right through the desert in a little black Honda Fit in the middle of August, which seemed like a good idea. I don't know. So
The summer vacation tour.
Yeah.
So yeah, and everywhere we've gone, people have been incredibly nice and receptive and warm and lovely. So
Any exceptions to that? Any fun stories from this summer's tours?
Not really. It's been pretty.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've met some great people and played with some great people. We met, Gonzalo Bergara, fantastic guitarist from California, and Jeff was fortunate.
I learned all of this last week, basically, in LA from him. So I've been studying a lot.
Yeah, he was wonderful.
Yeah, we met.
Of course, Danielle, of course.
Yeah, Danielle, and we went to the Seymour Duncan facilities in Santa Barbara. They make pickups for electric guitars.
We met Seymour Duncan.
and we
It was
met Seymour
awesome.
Duncan, which was really geeky and fun. So,
And of course, tonight we're going to play with Nolan McGinnis, who's a local Colorado singer-songwriter. Yeah, we hope to go out on tour again, and one of the best parts of going on tour is meeting people and playing with people, so we hope to do that a lot more.
Excellent. Talk to me a little bit, Jeff, about the amplification that you're using. We talked earlier about your beautiful 60s K guitar, but you've also got some things put together behind the sound wall, which unfortunately we can't see
just
while
a
we
little
talk
thing.
about them. But
well, the amp I'm using is just is a modern, just Mesa Boogie amp. Nothing exciting about that, but I've one of the things I like to do at home is just sort of tinker around with electronics, and I take apart guitar pedals and do weird things to them. I've taken a few and mounted them in old radios, like from the 30s and 40s and 50s. So what I have on top of my amp here is I'm using for distortion is a Ibanez Tube Screamer mounted inside an old Crosley radio from the 40s. And, I've got holes drilled in it, and so it's actually a working distortion pedal, and I have a line run from it to switch it on and off. So it's a lot of work for what actually comes out of it. It's just distortion, but it's
It sure looked cool.
it's pretty.
have you started passing this collection out to people, or are you hoarding them all for yourself?
No, I have them all at home.
I think they would make great Christmas gifts. I'm
Probably
just saying.
so, yeah.
My birthday's already passed.
Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's hear some more music. We've got just about 15 minutes left here. I do want to mention we've got a great lineup coming in next week. We do Live at Lunch Monday through Friday, noon to 1 every week. It's about 22 live shows a month, and we've been doing the program for 8 years, give or take. And next week, we've got The Deadly Gentleman on Monday. Tuesdays, Fierce Bad Rabbit is coming in, just back from their West Coast tour. Megan Burt and The Cure for Love are joining us on Wednesday. Thursday, we have Coles Whalen coming into the studio. And Friday, Jamie Michaels, which leads us right up into Bohemian Nights at New West Fest, which we will be live streaming all weekend from the Mountain stage. So lots of good stuff to look forward to here on Live at Lunch, including the next 13 minutes with Victor and Penny.
This is a tune called Sleepyhead, again taken from a Mills Brothers arrangement, written by a man named Walter Donaldson, which has turned out to be one of our favorite songwriters. He wrote a lot of great stuff back then in the 20s.
That's another example of us finding a song and then finding out who wrote it and said, oh, of course, it's Terry Woods.
It's interesting
Hoagie
how many of
Carmichael.
these songs I really recognize when I think about it. It's like, wow, you know, I have this is stuck in the back of my head somewhere.
Yeah, we've gotten that reaction a lot from people. People know these songs more than they think they did.
They live in our memory somewhere, so we're bringing them. Everything old is new again.
This one you may not know. Or you might.
Heard the rooster crow, it must have been a week ago. You're good for nothing, sleepyhead. Sleepyhead. See the sun so bright and red. He's been up and riding high, but you just let the time go by. Good for nothing, sleepyhead. Ba-da-ba-da-up, ba-ba-da-up. Ba-da-up, ba-ba-da-up, ba-ba-da-up. Ba-da-up, ba-ba-da-up, ba-ba-da-up. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Sleepyhead. I take away that bed, but you're such a lazy pup that you'd be sleeping standing up. Good for nothing, sleepyhead. Sleepyhead. You're underworked and overfed. This is such a sleepy day.
I wanna sleep the day away. I wanna be a sleepyhead.
Sleepyhead. I got to get you out of bed.
You just stand around and shout till you get me tuckered out. I'm bound to be a sleepyhead.
Big boy, don't you know today is Sunday? That's no day to lay around and doze. Sunday is the day I sleeps till Monday.
That's the way I save my go-to-meeting clothes.
Sleepyhead. You're gonna be a long time dead. Gabriel's gonna blow his horn, but you won't hear it if it's morning. Good for nothing, sleepyhead.
I heard you.
Good for nothing, sleepyhead.
Victor and Penny singing Sleepyhead here on Live at Lunch. You got it tuned to 88.9 FM, KRFC Fort Collins. We stream around the world on the web at krfcfm.org. You can find Live at Lunch and KRFC on Facebook and other various web outlets by doing some sort of Google search or something like that. Well, we've just got a little bit less than 10 minutes left with Victor and Penny.
We can do 6 tunes in that time.
Our songs are short.
I want to thank you for coming in and joining us today. It's great to see you back
Thanks
in
for
here,
having us.
Aaron, and thank you for bringing Jeff in and introducing us to his incredible talent.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew, and also thanks to Cindy Schneider, who has been our major connection in Colorado. Many thanks. And also to the radio station, too, which is terrific support. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Hopefully we'll see some folks out tonight in Boulder or Denver tomorrow or Fort Collins on Sunday.
Yeah.
So you can find out all more about our dates online, victorandpenny.com.
Yeah, if you haven't made weekend plans, you can go and find the information at victorandpenny.com. If you have made weekend plans, they're just weekend plans. You can change them.
Nice folks here in Colorado. We've had a fantastic time. Thanks to everyone.
What are we going to hear next?
I think we're going to hear You Rascal You, which is, we got this from Mills Brothers Arrangements again. But this is another one of our YouTube videos, if you want to go see that.
I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you.
Dead and 6 feet deep, no more chicken will you eat. Oh, you dog,
You rascal you. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you.
Well, I
Took you into my home, you wouldn't leave my man alone. Oh, you dog, you rascal you. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. Well, I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you. Well, what is it that you've got that makes my man think you're so hot? Oh, you dog, oh, you rascal you.
I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal you, you rascal you.
I'll be
Stand on the corner high when they bring your body by. Oh, you dog, you rascal you. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Victor and Penny, two rascals playing their rascally music.
That's right.
Getting a little rambunctious. Yeah. Calm down, Jeff.
Yeah, there's a small amount of space here.
Well, you've already signed the waiver, so we're good.
Right.
Let's keep the music rolling. What do you want to play for us next?
Okay, well, we have another one called Ain't Nobody's Business But My Own.
Yep.
Everybody's got a business, and I Sunday, then you get another on Monday.
That ain't nobody's business but my own. Now you say you're always home alone, but how come I can't get you on the phone?
But that ain't nobody's business but my own.
Nobody's business, nobody's business, nobody's business but my own. Nobody's business, nobody's business, well that ain't nobody's business but my own.
Now all night long you're playing poker. Tell me what's the name of that joker?
That ain't nobody's business but my own.
I thought you'd say that.
I come over, I say, here I am. Then I hear the back door slam.
Well, that ain't nobody's business but my own.
Nobody's business, nobody's business, nobody's business but my own. Nobody's business, nobody's business,
Well, that ain't nobody's business but my own. Come on, Victor, tell me about it. Well, ain't nobody's business but my own. Now you ain't smart and you ain't good looking. How come you got so much cooking?
That ain't nobody's business but my own. Nobody's business, nobody's business, nobody's business but my own. Nobody's business, nobody's business, well, that ain't nobody's business but my own.
Let's not fuss and let's not fight.
I'm sick and tired of saying goodnight.
Me too.
Let's make up and hold each other tight.
What do you got in mind?
Well,
We both know we're birds of a feather. Let's go into business together. We could start a business of our own.
we fuss and we fight, but we made up tonight. It's nobody's business, nobody's business, nobody's business but my own.
Thank you for listening to Live at Lunch on KRFC Fort Collins. Live at Lunch airs 5 days a week, noon to 1, Monday through Friday, right here on 88.9 FM.